I shared more private messages so that people can understand how deranged it is that Ben is so shameless that he showed up to Charlie's funeral, $1 million, and elects himself the great defender of his legacy. I'm going to defend Charlie Kirk. And in the name of Charlie Kirk, I'm now going to attack his friends. I'm going to attack his friends over the topic of Israel, a topic which Charlie had actually changed his mind on. That's the reality, point blank. And here's what I shared. I shared Charlie backing me up when Ben treated me publicly like crap, saying, stand for truth. The people are with you. Thank you, Charlie. I will, and I will continue to do that because the people are on the side of truth. And I said, I know. I've been through it enough with enough of these to know that truth always wins in the end. And he then laughs and wrote BTW. He was standing on a couch and I wrote, haha, so good. And Charlie said regarding Ben, he is unhinged. Stay the course. This is how he constantly spoke about Ben. Like I said, I have about 300 messages between me and Charlie to that effect. Okay. And we spoke deeper also on theology guiding Ben Shapiro. I hate to upset the Shabbat Shalom crowd, but Charlie also was aware of the verses in the Talmud and its vitriol, its inherent vitriol toward Christianity. If you don't serve them, then it's problematic. And here is what Charlie said regarding the Talmud. He writes, there are some verses in the Talmud that will blow your mind. I said, I'm aware of them. He wrote, the Talmud is not biblical, but it is their rabbinical interpretations of Judaism. And then I did a deep dive one week and he wrote thought crime. And I said, yep, this is the real Charlie Kirk that they are now trying to package to us as like a faithful Talmudic Jew who was friends with Ben Shapiro. Do you understand now how sickening it has been for me to have to sit back and watch Turning Point USA allow rats onto their ship, the ship that Charlie built, to effectively reverse course regarding what Charlie actually felt, what Charlie actually believed, and who his friends actually were? A reversal made infinitely more evil by the fact that his wife is at the helm of the company. She could stop that. Podcaster Brett Weinstein then waded into the fray, which was amazing. He was apparently in conversation with Charlie Kirk in June, before he died, back when Charlie went toe-to-toe with Bibi Netanyahu and won. Toe-to-toe with Bibi Netanyahu and the bandit of neocon criminals over war in Iran, telling Trump not to do it. And here is what Charlie shared with Brett about what he was doing at the White House. Brett opens this up by saying, on June 18th, I had a text exchange with Charlie Kirk. He said he was spending 2 full days at the White House trying to persuade President Trump not to initiate a war with Iran. Given that Charlie was close with the president and that he represented a large constituency essential to Trump, and given that many proponents of the war with Iran saw a U.S. attack as urgently necessary to the survival of Israel, it is reasonable to wonder if his refusal to back down from his steadfast opposition somehow resulted in his murder. A good investigation could have settled the matter. What we got only increases the reason for concern. Asking this question may be unforgivable, but it is in no way unreasonable. Charlie was in a strong position to keep us from doing what we have done now, and the timing of his death removed him from the equation and likely changed the course of history, as Charlie himself worried that it might. Brett said, and by the way, I think the president needs us to keep the pressure on. The neocons are very vocal and admittedly powerful, but the public does not want war, especially not to be dragged into one by a belligerent Israeli regime. Charlie responds and says, I know, we need to do better. I have a theory on this, which is the power of the dissident media is very good retroactively at uncovering injustice or scandal, like COVID, Ukraine border. We are not good at driving real-time mass public opinion yet. The neocons are. I'm doing all I can. Truly, I was in the White House all day fighting for America. Same tomorrow. Okay? These were Charlie's perspectives regarding the Iranian war. That is how Charlie felt about neocons. He felt like they were maniacs. He's reiterated 1,000 times. He would have the idea of people like Mark Levin and the McCains and the Shapiro coming out and pretending like they represent who he was should sicken you, okay? This is his honest opinion about what he thought about the likes of the Levins and the Shapiros. It's just a fact. Like I said, none of this can be disputed. But don't worry, because then what happens, because they're just getting pummeled with Charlie's own words online, is that our resident turncoat Blake Neff is going to pop in, and then he tries to smooth things over for neocons who are getting, like I said, revealed by Charlie's own words.